Hello, everybody.
Hey, here we are.
With better weather
Good to be
today.
back. I think that's what it looks like in Chicago. If you were watching last night, you went through the adventure with the band and the audience. The show started with a rain delay, and then a few songs into the first set, they had to cut it back again. And that just basically ate up what was left of the first set and the set break, and then they came back and played a full second set. I think we're going to get a whole show tonight to finish off the first half of the 2021 tour. I guess it's the end of the summer tour, and they'll be back in just a few weeks for the fall tour, and so will we. And who are we, you might well ask? I'm Gary Lambert, and over there is DeadHead Gans, and
Yes,
we'll be back at halftime. Yes.
We will. We're going to be visiting with Trixie Garcia today. We've got a lot to talk about with Trixie, of course. Our mission here is to keep you entertained. All we have to do is be more interesting than a placard that says, please stay tuned. And I think we're clearing that barrier. But really, we're trying to impart some useful information to you and keep you entertained. And one of the things that we need to tell you is that nugs.net is streaming all of the shows on the Dead & Company tour. And they have been streaming Dead & Company shows since 2016. And they want us to invite you to buy the stream. If you're looking at this free preview on YouTube or Facebook Live, they want you to come over to livedead.co, and where you can buy the stream and watch the entire show. And by the way, when you get that show, you have 48 hours. You can watch it as many times as you want. You can invite some friends over. You can watch it once to actually watch the musicians, and you can watch it again to shut your eyes and dance through the whole show. You have many options with these things. And also lots of audio-only downloads available in many formats and stuff. So please visit livedead.co and find out what the possibilities are for you and Dead & Company and nugs.net.
Yes, one of my little bits of sport during the tour has been spotting friends of mine on the rail, taking a picture of the TV screen with my phone and texting them to establish that I've seen them. So,
I've done that once or twice.
It's very interactive. I enjoy it.
Yeah, and that tells you something about how good the quality of the feed is, that you can really recognize faces. You know, they're not just a blur. We're watching this stuff. And by the way, the video feed is available in 4K. In addition to regular HD. So that, again, you can go to livedead.co to find out more about that. I wonder what songs were left off last night. There was a large blocked off area when the photo of the set list was posted, showing that the last part of set one was omitted last night because they weren't able to play it. I wonder what songs we're going to get tonight. I was predicting an Althea last night. I'm assuming we'll get one tonight. I hope so. I'm not really big in the predictions game, but I feel like hearing that tonight.
And this band, of course, has been pretty good at defying predictions and expectations in terms of what songs they pick, where they put them in the set. There have been some really nice surprises. They've broken out some songs that Dead & Company had never played before in the course of this tour. I expect there will be more of that in the second leg, which begins in early October and then runs through a 3-night run culminating in Halloween at the Hollywood Bowl. So that ought to be another great batch of shows, another great leg of the tour, and a really fun way to finish things off.
This is my biggest couch tour ever. I have had a history of watching a few shows on the course of the tour.
The lights are out.
See you at break time, everybody. Well, hello there.
Well, hello. Say, how about that Althea opener?
How so very predictable.
Guess you're feeling pretty damn clairvoyant now, mister.
Well, let's just say that in my lifelong history of not predicting stuff, I'm batting about 1,000 because I didn't bother to make predictions a lot very much over the years. But I was certainly delighted to see my choice become the first of an amazing set of music. My God, they hit the ground running. Uncle John's Band, Brown Eyed Women, Little Red Rooster, Jack Straw, and One More Saturday Night, and some interesting experiments in groove on that One More Saturday Night.
Yeah, they've been experimenting with that groove since I think 2017. John told me this story that they were going out for the encore, and Bob turned to Bill, I think, and said two words: "Swing it." And after playing One More Saturday Night, essentially the same way for how many years since 1971, they swung it, and it gave it more of a kind of a, I don't know, Lee Dorsey on steroids kind of feel. And it just, I love the way they do it. And sometimes they go back to the older arrangement. Sometimes they mix the two up. And like is the story of this band, always experimenting with the form.
If you are looking at a screen and saying, why does it not say, please stay tuned? Why are these two guys talking to me instead? It's because we've been asked to do this to be more entertaining than a screen that says, please stay tuned. My name is David Gans. His name is Gary Lambert. We are co-hosts of a show called Tales from the Golden Road, Sunday afternoons, 4 to 6 p.m. on SiriusXM's Grateful Dead channel. And I want to mention, by the way, in passing, before we go much further, that Monday evening, Gary and I are going to do an AMA over on Reddit, on the Grateful Dead subreddit on Reddit. It starts at 4:30 California time, 7:30 Eastern time on the Grateful Dead subreddit. It's an AMA, which means Ask Me Anything, which means that people come in and throw questions at us, and we are free to either answer them or not answer them, as the case may be. But Monday at 4:30 Pacific time, 7:30 Eastern time on the Grateful Dead subreddit on Reddit. And now back to my actual mission here.
Right. Well, let's just say that our media saturation is being well taken care of right now. Hey, can I just interject something before you go back to talking about the mission and Nugs.net and all that? When that ended, I texted John Mayer and I said, not sure I want to know what it takes to win the Kahlua Olympics. And John texted back, I'm a winner, and that's all that matters.
Kahlua Olympics.
John's T-shirt said "Winner Kahlua Olympics."
So why don't you give the Nugs spiel this time instead of me? I always do it.
Well, sure. We are here through the good graces of Nugs.net, the premier streamer of live music to the universe. Who not only are streaming these shows, but do live streams for many of the greatest bands on earth. And you can buy these shows a la carte, or you can buy them in a group or buy a whole tour of a band, including Dead and Company. And they are offering every show on this tour for live streaming in beautiful HD or 4K. Looks so good on a big old TV screen, or even on your phone, however you choose to watch it. It's amazing. So well done. The cinematography is brilliant. The sound mixes are fantastic. And you can avail yourself of that. I know many of you may be watching this through the free preview option. Nugs is also offering a free preview of each set of each show. The second set preview includes what we're doing right now. And so you can check that out. And if this so excites you, or more likely, if the first song of the second set so excites you, you can then go back and purchase the entire live stream of the show, go back and watch the first set, and perhaps watch subsequent shows in the tour, because they've all been well worth watching. And Nugs.net also sells subscriptions through which you can get audio streaming of an immense library of music. They have been presenting live recordings of bands for a long time now. I don't know the exact date they started this, but it's
20 years.
Right. And you have bands like Dead and Company, you have Wilco and Bruce Springsteen and the Rolling Stones and many others. It's an incredibly deep library of music that you can listen to on your phone anytime. If you subscribe to the audio streaming or downloads of these shows, you can also have the music on your phone a half hour to an hour after tonight's show ends. It's a miracle of the modern age, and I love availing myself of it. And you might want to try it too. So thank you to Nugs.net. I want to thank Nugs.net for giving us this gig, Brad Serling, the head man. And we have to thank Jacob Lima, who's been running the show from these venues under trying logistical and technical conditions sometimes, under trying weather conditions. He's always gotten to the venue, gotten set up, gotten this thing going at halftime, doing a fantastic job. So Jacob, we can't thank you enough, Nugs.net. And Dead and Company management for thinking this was a good idea. So,
indeed. Thanks to all.
End of spiel.
We're having a great time doing it. And now let's bring our guest in. We are really, really happy to have with us this evening Trixie Garcia. Hello.
Hey.
Hey, guys. It's great to be here.
Great to have you.
Yeah, it's great to have you. You're at home in Northern California?
Yeah, I'm in Sonoma County. We had rain for the first time in a long time today, so we're having positive weather events. I'm glad that the show went on tonight. The band seemed really enthusiastic, and if that was the first set, I know the second set is going to be really amazing.
Today is also, among other things, the day there was a ribbon cutting down in San Francisco for the Jerry Garcia Amphitheater at McLaren Park. And I know your old man would be pleased that he's being honored by a performing space in an outdoor venue in beautiful San Francisco, California. There could hardly be a better spot to remember Jerry than that space. Now, tell us about that a little bit.
Yeah, there's a park called McLaren Park in the Excelsior district of San Francisco, where Jerry's from. It's working class, immigrant community. And this is an open air amphitheater that's free to the public. And it's where they hold the annual Jerry Day, which is a free, Jerry tribute show. And the city of San Francisco just invested a bunch of money bringing that place, up to a higher level of functionality and beauty. And it's a good testament to how much Jerry means to the city of San Francisco. So we're happy to see that, because a couple of years ago, they were trying to rename it. Some corporate sponsor wanted to come in and rename it the Levitt Pavilion Group. So we convinced San Francisco not to do that. So that's a happy thing. I'm just so happy to see everybody. I love watching the front row, and I see so many familiar faces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is inspiring that Jerry's music is still moving people in this way, that people are inspired to play his music in so many different ways, that the music is still evolving, it's still mutating, it's still expressing itself in new ways. And that was a hallmark of the way Jerry approached music. He didn't want to play like anyone else played. He borrowed elements from lots of music, but it all came out sounding like him. And I think Dead and Company is keeping that standard up, and it's a beautiful thing to see.
I really like to hear those moments, with a touch of reggae comes in. It's always evolving. There's kind of the improv element needs to stay there, and all these guys are great. I'm really enjoying the energy.
Yeah, they're fantastic players, just fantastic players. I would like to talk with you a little bit about Garcia Handpicked. I recently made my way down to a dispensary in downtown Oakland and I walked in and I said, I want to try Garcia Handpicked. Give me the dankest indica you've got. And they sent me out of there with a jar of something called peanut butter souffle. And I have to tell you, I'm playing a live show every day from my studio here where I'm sitting right now. And it is very, very musical pot. I have a nice little pipe load of that before I start playing, and it just makes me feel good about what I'm doing. And that's what you want in a line of cannabis. So thank you.
The Garcia Handpicked cannabis launch has been a success. We are a legacy brand and not a celebrity brand, I guess. So, there's a whole lot more that we're thinking about than just trying to use the name to get people to buy weed. It's we're in 3 states. We're in Massachusetts, Maryland, and California. And in California, we're able to feature some sun-grown cannabis, which is really cool. And we've partnered with a lot of smaller farms, or the boutique cannabis scene is going on. So it's a great community to be a part of. It's a natural fit. I know that I saw people sparking up, in the front row. So I'm glad to see that that's still a tradition, at the concerts. there's nothing I hate more than being yelled at by a security guard. So I will not be the first one to spark up at a show, but I'm glad people do.
Yes, indeed. It occurs to me also, I like the way that you make that distinction between legacy and celebrity, because I don't think Jerry had much regard for his celebrity at all. If he wanted to be known for anything, it was the work he did. It was the music. And I'm really happy that the Garcia family enterprises, while they're bringing us a lot of Jerry's music and the Garcia Live series and box sets, a lot of archival stuff, is also carrying on that aspect of Jerry's legacy that was about giving something back. A lot of the charitable gestures. And just recently, there was the Days Between celebration, which you all had to do last year in virtual form. Everything was on Zoom or something similar. But this year, you were actually able to get some live music out there and celebrate Jerry really in his natural habitat, of people playing his music live for other people.
I think that there was no hesitation for people to get out and start playing and rebuilding, their communities, reassuring each other that they're still there and, still, although separated, on the same vibe still. And we always try and have a charitable component. I definitely support Rex Foundation. They're a great organization. I'm so glad that Dead & Company has decided to partner with them ongoing. It's reinforcing our community in a lot of ways. And a lot of grassroots organizations are going to get some money to do some really influential stuff, impactful. Yes. It's been an honor to be part of that. It's an honor to be here talking to you guys and all these people. It's just a crazy world. What a great catalog of music. What a beautiful fan base. I'm just blown away to see every time. Just the greatest. So
well, I have to volunteer from our side that you have done just a splendid job of representing the family in the world, showing up at events and baseball games and gallery openings and stuff. You present yourself and the family and everything else really, really beautifully. And we appreciate it. And showing up for people like us on these things is really appreciated as well.
Yes, it's kind of fun. I'm like, can I put on like a GoPro camera and go walk it around get my own stream and like wander around and check out the dancing and stuff, I love the community. I try not to think too much about, I should be a musician and whatever, be up there. No, I can just be me. I feel the same connection that all of you feel to this music. And all I want to do is share it with the world. So thank you guys.
That was what Jerry advised us all to do, to be ourselves, to, so you're doing it.
Yes, I am. I think you guys have a great gig hanging out and chatting during the shows.
Yeah, I've been going back and forth through my longing to be at the show, especially when I see friends of mine on the rail and all that, and having this great gig. And no matter where I am, I've been glued to this couch a lot over the past year and a half. I'm still getting that pleasure out of the music, and it's kind of nice to do it in a different form than I've done it for more than 50 years. So it's a nice. It gives an alternative perspective. You reconsider your engagement with the music and the scene. And I know I'll be back out there live soon enough, but for now, I ain't complaining.
It's also just amazing to be able to watch the hands on the instruments and watch the faces of the singers and stuff. I mean, it's always been great to be in the room where it happens, but it's also really nice to be on the couch watching it happen from an even better perspective. And
it's so true.
The Mickey Hart beam cam stuff in drums is always fun, especially when it gets all kind of psychedelic and posterized and stuff, and you see like this deeply etched Mickey Hart, like the side of Mount Rushmore or something, while he's bowing his beam. Fabulous. It's wonderful to watch. The Mickey can.
He is like a rocky structure to his face. It's jagged mountain tops. I really loved the exchange that Mayer and Chimenti were having during the last song. Was pretty cool. I look for all those things, and they seem to be having a good time. And that little thing of like, I'm proud of that lick. Oh, did you? The little musician moment where you're really proud of what you're sharing with somebody. It's neat. There's so many nuances to the whole scene. It's a cool thing. I'm happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, I also have been watching the pleasure they get out of each other. There are a couple of moments like John played like a little something or gave a little rhythmic accent, and you could see Billy right behind him, and just like Billy, who's usually pretty, he's pretty poker faced much of the time behind the drums. So if you earn a smile from Billy, you're doing your job right. And you get the eye contact between Jeff and John, which has been much commented on. But I can watch Jeff sort of shift his focus. And I say, I think now he's digging on Billy. It's like, and they're locked into something together. So it is an incredibly intimate way of experiencing this music.
Couch tour forever. I also want to I'll plug nugs.net again, because they've been awesome, and bringing kind of an analog scene into the 21st century, where it's making it easy for everyone to get online and enjoy this from the comfort of their home and still feel very involved.
And it all started in the late 90s when Brad Serling wanted to find a way to share his collection of MP3s. It's another case of a DeadHead getting creative and changing the world.
Yeah.
Really.
Well put.
I really like, Brad's a great guy. It's hard to believe that he's been doing this for 20 years. It shows though, because, he's like the top of his game there. And as far as industry and technology goes, like I could also plug the NFT thing that we did with Yellow Heart. We put some of Jerry's old computer art as NFTs. Not a big deal, but a portion of that is going to the to 3 different charities: the Wilderness Fund. Well, maybe it's Wilderness Society. I'm sorry, Rex Foundation. And the First and Last Out crew.
You brought it up, Trixie. Can you explain NFTs to us?
Well, an NFT is a blockchain technology. It's basically what makes the most sense to me is being someone that used to play video games. You have a digital ownership over stuff in the online world. And instead of it being, a physical item in your home, it's a thing. It's very difficult to explain, but the concept makes a lot of sense to some people.
That's why I tried to trap you into trying to explain it.
It's a trip. But I feel like it's a useful technology, and this is, NFTs is just one example of how blockchain can, help us optimize our realities. And, I wanted to say also that Mother Nature came and interrupted last night's show, and I want everyone just to, remember their duties to planet Earth and go out there, think twice before you buy a plastic bottle, use, just little stuff, and be mindful and vote. And
vote.
Yeah. Buy electric.
We talk a lot also, in addition to the Rex Foundation, about Headcount, who are one of the major partners with Dead and Company and many other bands. Voting gets to determine what kind of policy is going to exist on climate change in this country, and this country holds tremendous sway over the world in that. So every little decision you make about how engaged you're going to be affects everyone's life.
And voting is also important to people who are cannabis advocates. Voting is the reason why it's legal and recreational in a lot of states now. And it's a wave that's crossing the country the fiscal conservatives have recognized that there's tax money in it, and the rest of us have recognized that it's been a cool thing to have been doing all along, and thank God we're not going to get thrown in jail for it anymore. But as Andy Bernstein from Headcount noted in our discussion the other night, it's a great way to get people interested in civic life because it's a topic that a lot of people have a direct personal interest in, voting to legalize cannabis. And once you've decided to become a voter, you could become an educated voter and read about all the other stuff on your local ballot, including what seems like insignificant stuff like local school boards and local special assessment districts. You belong to a mosquito abatement district, well, maybe it does matter which person gets elected to that board. So I actually read all that stuff and I make an informed choice. I have not missed an election since 1972, and it is so very important, not just for the big issues and not just for the issues that affect you directly, but issues that affect your whole community and your whole region and your whole state and your whole country and your whole planet.
David Gans and I are both in the district with Barbara Lee, the sole dissenter to the war in Afghanistan. So, yeah, it can be very empowering. Politics can be very empowering. Barbara Lee's a great point of pride for all of us.
I was lucky enough to my entire time in the Bay Area to be represented first by Ron Dellums and then by Barbara Lee. So I was. I really felt represented in that case. Trixie, to get back to Jerry's art, you mentioned the NFTs. I believe there's also an installation of his work at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame now, isn't there?
Yeah, thank you. I should have mentioned that. The display called An Odd Little Place is being featured at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and they've extended it into the spring. And we've even talked about possibly putting it on the road, but they're becoming a more a powerful institution. Someone actually told me, like, no, not the Smithsonian, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I was like, oh, okay, because they care more, I guess, about the particular niche of history, that we occupy. But who knows if that's true? Sorry to offend anyone, the Smithsonian affiliated. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is a cool place, and they're showing some Jerry art, and that's a visual piece connected with the NFT release. So they've displayed it beautifully using so this is art that he made in 1995, 1994. So they're actually brought up some monitors from that era. Displaying it in its native resolution or whatever you would want to call that. So everyone takes very good care of Jerry when they're involved with the thing. So, the fan base has been extremely helpful getting a lot of stuff done, because people care. It means so much to them that they have, I couldn't do any of that stuff on my own. So I'm super grateful for all the great help at Red Light Management and Yellow Heart and everything.
We've got all these people that have grown up loving this music and being part of this culture. And now some of us have been doing this for 50 years. And wherever we are in our lives, we're bringing that with us. So you've got people that are senators and vice presidents and heads of corporations and high-powered environmental lawyers and stuff. It's like, we are literally everywhere. There you can find a DeadHead to help you get heard in various places and stuff. It's like a secret network of constructive engagement that we can have with one another all over the place.
Right.
And one calling card of the secret network is these Jerry Garcia shirts that Gary's wearing. Is that an old Jerry shirt?
This is a Jay Garcia. I don't think the shirt's got as much play as the ties. In this case, it looks like I'm wearing camouflage with my couch, but it's actually this is a Jay Garcia shirt. We got some as prototypes at Grateful Dead merchandising when I was working there. It's silk, it's beautiful, and it is indeed a Jay Garcia. Nice catch there, Trixie.
Yeah.
When the ties were always kind of a secret calling card for business types. So I had to point that out.
We're told
Right.
that the
I
band
think
is heading toward the stage. I have to interrupt because we're not quite ready to let go of you yet, but we're preparing for the lights signal, which signals the end of our conversation. We should remind people that Nugs.net is streaming this show. If you're watching this free preview on YouTube, get on over to livedead.co and explore the possibilities of buying the stream so you can go back and watch the first set that you may have missed and then watch the whole thing again several more times over the next 48 hours. And you can also explore the possibilities of downloading audio from nugs.net and lots of other possibilities. So please do visit livedead.co, but not right now because we're still talking with Trixie and then the band's going to be playing.
that's right. I just want to mention you can find out more about the Jerry exhibit at rockhall.org. And I don't think the Smithsonian's really, got to worry about their reputation. I think it's pretty much intact. But what you said about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I was glad to hear, because there's always a lot of controversy about who gets inducted and who doesn't. How dare they put Billy Joel in when my favorite little blues band from isn't in yet? Yeah, there's always controversy and there's always talk of it being too corporate. Actually, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is really a great museum, beautifully curated, beautifully designed, full of fascinating stuff. And it is also an important educational institution. They're about getting rock and roll into the curriculum of schools, the history of our music. So, I like to see someone give a tip of the hat to them because, they do take a bit of a beating some of the time.
There is a lot of lessons to be learned from the history of the music industry. A lot of people got taken advantage of.
Yes.
But I doubt they'll teach that part.
I think they do. I think they probably do. And also, they do tout a lot of very underrepresented early rock artists who are the people who didn't get paid, are the people whose music turned into hits for white artists, and all that. So the history does teach you about all the negative aspects of it as well. But anyway, we could go on that tangent for a while, but we don't have to because we have a lot of cool stuff to talk about. Trixie, are there any things on the near horizon? Maybe you can't divulge state secrets, but new releases coming from Jerry Garcia?
Oh, geez. We have been working closely with the Grisman family to put out some stuff because there was kind of a stop, there. So with a little bit of, we're working with them to put out some stuff collaboratively where before typically the Grisman has their own acoustic site. Escaping me right now.
Acoustic Oasis is their
Acoustic Oasis, sorry. And fabulous people, fabulous site, but we hadn't had the chance to let my, crazed marketing people at Red Light Management and stuff do something. So hopefully it'll be something nice. I've also been working with the Owsley Stanley Foundation. There's a thing where Jerry makes an appearance with the Chieftains coming out, and hopefully that's not a secret, but it's good publicity either way. There's just so much great music. How do we prioritize what people want to hear? There's so much great stuff. So I let the experts pick the shows and try not to get too involved. There's thousands.
Well, right.
It's nice that there's a steady stream of stuff coming out from Grateful Dead and from the Garcia family, and you don't have to this has to come out and that has to come out. As long as things are coming and we all get something new every couple of months, it's good to keep the stream of releases. Deep archival.
I find that things come out that will surprise me, it'll be from a period of the Jerry band that, I hadn't really seen Jerry that often in a given period, or I hadn't heard anything from that period in a while. And I'll say, oh, I really like, them in this year, this moment. There were certain bands that he was in that were short-lived, like Legion of Mary and Reconstruction, that I would love to hear stuff from, because they were these little gems that that were underappreciated at the time. So I love the potential of any of this stuff seeing the light of day and new people discovering them.
We're working hard on reconstructions for sure. There's politics and always, reasons. But yeah, that's one that's very high. Everyone wants that.
Oh, great.
And so we're working, we have a small army of people chipping away at these things.
Let me also put in a good word for the good old Grateful Dead cast, which is available from dead.net. The most recent episode, they just dropped a new one. They started the new season, but a couple weeks ago, I listened to the last episode of the Skull and Roses season, which was all about Jerry's first solo album. And it just was full of amazing stories about the making of that record in the summer of 1971. That is, as a podcast series, the good old Grateful Dead cast is amazing. It's so deep and so rich and so full of good stuff. And that particular episode, I guess probably because the Garcia album was one of the first ones I ever bought, and I probably listened to it thousands of times, and that music just is in my DNA now. So a good deep dive into the making of that record was really satisfying. The good old Grateful Dead cast on dead.net.
I haven't heard that podcast, but I know, that album was pretty near perfection, and I know he worked very hard on that, and there's got to be great. I mean, so many great stories. Just what a scene! People were reinventing everything. Just drug-fueled genius. Not necessarily, just that, but people were pushing the limits with all kinds of stuff, and some of those bands, some of those musicians are just excellent, and it's great to be able to feature them on these recordings and play those songs once again.
It is showtime. We are back. The band is back. Trixie, thank you so much.